Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons, where you can be part of the Shannons Club. PENRITE Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, Pace Farm, and Duncan Foster Engineering. Welcome back to part 2 of 2016 Carlisle All Ford Nationals here in Pennsylvania, United States of America. But before I go any further, you need to see this. It's thanks to Shannons. Ask about multi-policy discounts and sign up for the Shannons Club. Call 134646 for a quote and see more at shannons.com.au. For oils, coolants, additives and technical assistance, oil right, use PENRITE. And Hare and Forbes has the range. Buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. Well, here I am in the Expo Centre, which is just across from the Carlisle Event Fairgrounds. Now, if you love your Fords, this whole thing is a must-see, must-do cubic capacity atmosphere that has to be etched into your bucket list. And on last week's show, if you missed it, catch it online at Shannons. So missing Classic Restos now is a thing of the past. But last week, I caught up with Willie Strop, personal friend of race legend Parnelli Jones and the most famous Bronco, Big Ollie. We saw inside Building T featuring the 50th anniversary Bronco display, the Starsky and Hutch Grand Torinos and other cool vehicles by Ford from the 1966 year, and Roush celebrated their 40th year with Fords. Building Y hosted the select display, reflecting an instant positive response from its 2015 introduction. Then it was out onto the fairgrounds where passionate entrants showed off their classic rides. Moving through the Expo Centre here, this kind of blows me away. Behind me is the brand new Ford GT, available for sale in late 2016. This is the only car in the world, and Ford here in the United States moved mountains to get it here. This car will set you back around about $450 US. It boasts around 600 horsepower, and there's around 6,000 orders pending for the car. It's nice to see after many decades that the GT badging still continues. Okay, time now on today's show for some Starsky and Hutch TV series stuff. A little bit about the Grand Torinos, and you never know who I may just happen to run into. Here we go in the sensational Building T here at the 2016 Carlisle All Ford Nationals. We've got Steve. How you doing, Steve?
Good, Fletch. How are you?
Good. Now, how do you feel with one of these Grand Torinos, the Starsky and Hutch car? What's that feeling like?
Well, I've been a big fan since I was 17, so having the car, the actual TV screen used car, was a dream come true for me.
You've got a big crowd of people. You should see the line here. It goes for like, I don't know, half a mile out the door because Starsky is about to appear, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
So how do you feel with him hanging around here all day?
Oh my God, it's another dream come true. I mean, you know, you can't ask for much more.
Tell us quickly about your car. What did you do in terms of the resto? What was it like when you got it?
It was in bad shape, but not rust shape. Bad rust shape. It's a frame-off restoration. Took about 4 years to do, finding all the correct parts and everything and trying to make it exactly the way it was. So we got it right where it's at, right down to the new polyglass tires.
Yeah. Did they drive them very hard when they did the TV show?
Very hard. The car had a lot of Bondo on it, and you know, they weren't easy on the cars.
What were they running? 351s, 400s?
460s.
460s?
Yeah. These two cars here have 460s in them.
Wow, I mean, they're a good-looking car, aren't they?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. That's why I own 6 of them.
Oh, Steve, you got it bad, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, not a dumb question, but they must go well. They're a nice car to drive.
Very nice, very smooth, easy to steer.
Yep.
You know, you have to drive them, though, because if they sit, you know, you start getting leaks.
Sure. Steve, I'll let you get back to it. Starsky's not too far away. Like I said, you must be like 800 people here ready to go, so you've got a busy day ahead of you.
I do. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
I want to compliment you on the way you've got it all presented here. Car in the back there, you've done a great job.
Thank you.
Hey, look, there's about 800 people waiting to see this guy. It's Paul. That's Starsky from Starsky and Hutch. How you doing, Paul?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, good. How do you feel about all this in 2016, all these years down the track?
It's amazing, isn't it? It's just amazing, you know. But the show seemed to have, you know, really connected with a lot of people, and one can only be thankful for that.
Do you still keep in touch with David Soul?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah. You know, he lives over in England.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So look, what...
You Aussies know something about England, don't you?
We do, but you know what? The TV series really was very strong down under. What was it like back in the 70s when you were doing it? Like throwing the cars around, being the characters that you were. What was that feeling like?
It was a lot of work, very busy. We had some fun, and it was a real roller coaster ride.
Good for you, Paul. Look, it's been wonderful catching up with you. I can't believe it's a bit surreal, really. I mean, I was a young kid in the 70s watching you on television. I don't want to make you feel too old.
Oh, I don't feel too old, except when I get out of bed in the morning.
It's been a real honour to catch up with you. I'm going to leave you with it, Paul. There's a lot of people waiting to see you, so thank you once again.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. You are watching the largest Ford event on the planet, the 2016 Carlisle All Ford Nationals, and you're seeing it first on Classic Restos. Back with more right after this.
Every weekend around Australia, motoring enthusiasts get together to share their passion for cars and bikes. It's a passion that brings us together. All sorts of people. All sorts of cars and bikes. From the classics of today to the classics of tomorrow. At Shannons, we understand enthusiasts. So when it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannons. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
If you have a restoration project, Hare and Forbes has the tools that you need. Look at these restoration products: shrinker stretchers, dollies, mallets, bead rollers, profile gauges, professional panel restoration kits, and so much more. Now I warn you, enter at your own risk because you will end up buying something. So come along to your Cap City store or browse and buy online at machineryhouse.com.au because Hare and Forbes has the range.
In 1926, Australia's PENRITE Oil Company was established. Almost 90 years of research, development and refining under the harsh Australian conditions has made PENRITE Oil what it is today. Precision, performance, reliability and protection. Championship winning products. Trust PENRITE.
You know, Joe, you could just about close your eyes and still choose a beautiful Galaxie along this row here. Aren't they sensational?
They are absolutely gorgeous. So I love the Galaxies.
When they come with a special story, most do because obviously their age. What's the story with yours, Joe?
Well, my father owned this car for about 10 or 12 years, and then he passed away a year ago, May, and so I get to take care of it now.
I think that's beautiful. You've even gone all out. This is what I like about what the American people do here. There's no limit to your imagination, but in dedication, you've got a T-shirt here with your father on the front of the T-shirt. I mean, what do you say about that?
Everything that I have here, I dedicate to my father. He's the one that raised me, along with of course, my mother. But you know, he was a great man, and I figured I might as well tribute him. Just keep his car out and keep it around.
Joe, what was the feeling when you were a young guy and your dad bought this car brand new? You've got to share with us. What was the feeling like?
It was just, back then it was fantastic. I mean, here we had a nice car, and my father was proud of it. So was my mother, and he just loved the car, and I loved it. You know.
It's an unrestored, original example of a car, which I just think is incredible. Now, we've got a 352 up front. Isn't that amazing? To think that Ford down the track retooled for 1 cubic inch less with a 351. Right. They did that because they could.
Right, exactly. They sure did.
Okay, now how does it drive? What's it like as a car?
Oh, it drives beautiful. As far as I'm concerned, and I've had Cadillacs and driven Cadillacs, This rides better than a Cadillac.
Oh, that's a big statement. Oh,
It does ride better than a Cadillac.
yeah, I must say, yeah, that's a big call. Look, these big full-size cars. I mean, if you don't muck around with the suspension and keep them standard, rebush them, put some good radial tyres on them, they really are sensational things, aren't they?
They're a very nice car. They really are.
Now, some of the options on this car too, can't help but notice, Joe, the stainless steel, you call them fender covers. We call them spats down under, but here in the US, they're fender covers.
Right.
So, original fitments of the vehicle?
Yeah, 65. You could get them for just about anything for the 65. This car had original that my dad had was painted ones, and one of our club members, the Galaxie Club in California, had a set of those stainless steel ones. Wow. So I decided to get those and put them on there, and because I like the shine.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I've got a comment on the two-tone paint. Love the white turret. That's beautiful.
The car originally came with solid turquoise. Well, then my father decided when he had it repainted to go with the white top, which made it look a little more like convertible. And plus, actually, it set it off even more.
Joe, I want to thank you for today. I mean, it's a beautiful car. Love the interior. To think this is how it was, 1965, and here we are all these years later in 2016. Belonged to your father. Special tribute there. Need we say more? Thanks for being a very special part of part 2 of the Carlisle All Ford Nationals here on Classic Restos. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Fletch. Thank you very much.
There are many prestigious Fords. The Lincoln, the Continental. Wow, it's just got to be up there. Welcome to today's show, John.
How are you today, sir?
I'm good. How about you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah. Enjoying that Continental or what?
Yes, Fletch, I'm definitely enjoying it.
69 Mark III, a sensational car, an original car. The studded interior. I mean, it just cries sales brochure all day long, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So tell us about the car. How long have you had it? Where is it from?
Well, I've had the car 5 years. I am the third owner. The car was originally purchased in Ohio.
You're actually the fourth owner if you include the Ford Motor Company.
That's correct. Yeah. That's correct. Technically speaking, that's correct. That's right. Well, I acquired it 5 years ago, and it's been a labor of love. The body's been gone through, the top. The interior was untouched. No flaws, no issues, no problems. The powertrain was in decent shape, just need a little minor freshening up and whatnot. Updated sound system, a little exhaust work, a little undercover stuff you can't see. Yeah. But otherwise, it's been a very enjoyable ride the last 5 years.
Mate, nobody else around the world built cars like this. I mean, it is amazing. Again, speechless when you look around the interior. It's so inviting. It's like as though, well, hey, you know, I could just go in there and spend days in there and just keep on driving.
That's correct. That's correct. If you look at the interior, it reminds you of the leather interior that you would buy at some high-end luxury furniture shop.
Absolutely.
And it's crafted the same way.
Yeah. And like the power window buttons in back there, just on the side section there at the end of the seats, and it's just you're really at home in a car like this, aren't you?
Yes, you are, sir. Yes, you are.
Okay, so engine up front. Tell us the deal there.
It has what Ford calls the 385 engine family, which is a 460 cubic inch V8 engine. 375 horses with a whopping 500 foot-pounds of torque.
And, you know, it's amazing, you know, you might think to yourself, yeah, but the car's so heavy. It doesn't matter. These things propel along nicely, don't they? I mean, they've got legs out on the freeway like you would not believe. Now, what I love about these Continentals as well is they're either proportioned or they're not proportioned at all in the body. You've either got this massive overhang out front and not a lot out back, depending on what model you've got. Yours here is just beautiful and sleek. You've got the big nose cone. It's a two-door car, beautiful over the trunk, and the swage work there, replicating where a spare wheel is supposed to be. I just think that is beautiful.
Yes, I agree. That's the signature series right there. When you look at the trunk lid, you know that is a Mark Series vehicle.
John, thank you so much for sharing this car with us.
Well, Fletch, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. I love these things. These are the cars that once upon a time, you know, as a kid growing up, you'd see these cars on American movies, and you just look at them in awe and think, wow, look at that. And all these years later, you see them now, and they blow you away just the same.
Yes, yes, yes. They definitely do.
Yeah. And so you've got to also appreciate too that you go a lot of years and wonder as well. I mean, from a little kid to now, there's quite a while there. So you go many, many years of your life before you probably see one of these up close, especially here in the United States. So when you do, they're always special.
Well, it's funny you should mention that because at age 16, first time I drove one, it belonged to a relative. I loved that car at that point in time, even burning tires, but that's another story. But so later in life, I was able to, matter of fact, this is the second one I've had.
What was your first car, John?
Would you believe a 1971 Dodge Dart?
Hey, there you go. So, a swinger.
Yes, sir, that's right.
Bit of a Mopar boy.
That's right, that's right.
I can't knock you for having this Continental though, John.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Yes, indeed.
You take care, and it's been a pleasure interviewing you on today's show.
It's been a pleasure, Mr. Fletch. All right, thanks again.
See a Carlisle event and a whole lot more on a Fletch tour. Have a look at this.
There is nothing quite like a Fletch tour. Carlisle All Ford Nationals, GM Nationals and Chrysler Nationals await you.
On a Fletch tour, you don't have to worry about a thing.
I can't believe how good it's been.
Experience Route 66.
We're definitely coming back to do Route 66.
Or choose the Detroit tour, attending the Woodward Dream Cruise.
On a Fletch tour, every day just gets better and better.
You've got to do something in your life, you've got to do a Fletch tour.
There are 5 Fletch tours. See fletchtours.com or contact All Things Travel, Lara.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons.
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover,
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
PENRITE, Australian-made, family-owned and operated. Make premium quality engine and racing oils, warranty-approved coolants, automatic transmission and manual gear oils, a complete range of engine and fuel additives, heavy-duty and industrial products for every application. Visit PENRITEoil.com for more information. PENRITE, Australian-made for Australian conditions since 1926.
If you have a restoration project, Hare and Forbes has the tools that you need. Look at these restoration products: shrinker stretchers, dollies, mallets, bead rollers, profile gauges, professional panel restoration kits, and so much more. Now I warn you, enter at your own risk because you will end up buying something. So come along to your Cap City store or browse and buy online at machineryhouse.com.au because Hare and Forbes has the range. Rod, welcome to today's show. A gorgeous 1968 Ranchero. You know, when you look at the El Caminos, a Ranchero, we call them utes down under. You guys here, pickups, they really came into their own in the mid to late 60s, didn't they?
Yes, they did. I've loved this one since 1968 when I first seen one, and it took till 76 till I could afford to buy one.
Yeah, right. That's what it's like. You either could have got one when you were younger or not, yes. But it's nice to be at that stage of life where you can get that now. Look, beautiful colour. I know it's burgundy red, but what's the name of that?
Maroon. It's royal maroon.
Oh, there you go. It isn't even burgundy red. No. See, I don't know. I don't know stuff. I've got to talk to blokes like this. Now, what sort of condition was it in when you got it?
When I bought it, it was pretty rough. It was on a used car lot. I paid $750 for it.
When?
In 1976.
Wow, $750. And I suppose even then you thought, will I or won't I?
Yeah, yes, that's right. I had to think about it before I decided to buy it. Yeah. But it was my daily driver till in the early 80s. Yeah. I think it was 83. Yeah. And it sat in the garage then after that for 24 years.
It's amazing, you know. We used to sell our old cars back in the late 70s and 80s. If the radiator was leaking and they needed a new clutch, we'd get rid of them. And now it's a blessing to buy a classic car that's got a leaky radiator because it's just no big deal to fix it.
That's right. It's something simple to fix.
Up front, right in the go-go department there, sucking huge chunks of atmosphere. What powers it?
It started out originally as a 390 GT S-Code. It's now a 416.
How's that go?
It goes really good. Yeah. It feels good whenever I tramp it down.
Rear diff gears, what ratio you got going on out back?
It's a 350 with it's a Detroit locker.
So with all that grunt up front and 3.5 rear gears, must be hard getting the power down, Rod?
No, Fletch, it's not hard.
You don't break traction?
No.
No? How?
I just take it easy.
Well, there you go. Well, that's what you do. Just a little bit of accelerator and then, let it do what it wants to do. Now, the interior is beautiful as well. I mean, you've gone all out. I mean, when we talk of a ute or a pickup truck, tradesman's vehicle, delivery wagon, whatever you want to term it here, to see them in this condition now, that's really a great accolade on your behalf.
Well, it's not that I didn't try to tear the car up when it was younger. I've spent a lot of time and.
So you broke you broke traction then?
Yes, I did tear it up.
Yeah. I'm sure you did.
But it's all good now. It took me 2.5 years to get it back in shape.
No, you've done a beautiful job, Rod. What's your thoughts on Carlisle All Ford Nationals for 2016?
I love this show, and my wife and I just never miss this show. We come down just to look at the cars. We actually come down to other shows too. It's not just the Ford cars that we look at. We like them all.
I think it's a general appreciation. That's what's so great, and it doesn't matter, you've got Rancheros there and you've got Mustangs over there. Everyone's on the same page here, and that's what all these car shows, what they stand for. That's a beautiful thing, I reckon. Everyone's just out to have a great time.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you like older cars and everything, and even some newer stuff they have here, it's fun to be here and just look at everything.
Yeah, good on you. Nice catching up with you, Rod. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Nice talking to you, Fletch.
Good on you, mate. As we move through the select display here in Building Y, things don't get much more cool than this. Hey, Rich.
Good morning, Fletch.
How you doing?
Very well, thanks.
That is good. I love this car. I tell you what I do. I love this car because it's got so much history. It looks tough. It's from 1957. Tell us what you can about this Ford Tudor.
Okay. When I was 13 years old, my dad would take us down to Tennessee and leave us with friends of his from World War II in the Air Force. And, we go play in the woods and do what kids do. And one day I was checking out this barn, and behind the barn was a little shed, sort of rickety, and this car was sitting in that shed.
What year are we talking?
1965. So anyway, I thought, wow, maybe this guy would sell me this car because I'm going to be driving in, 3-4 years, and it would be nice to have that car because I always liked, even as a kid, I liked 57 Fords.
Look at the steel wheels. I mean, this car is so plain, it's like a taxi cab. I mean, it's just got, no options at all. But let's talk about engine in a moment. But before we do, tell us about the options. It's like there's none.
It has absolutely no options. There's one sun visor from the factory. It doesn't even have a lighter.
Wow. Now, having said that, because it's such a plain car, this car was purpose bought. Now, it's a very powerful car. Back in their day, they used to rev to around 5,000 RPM from the factory. Yes. We're talking a supercharged V8 here. Now, tell us the purpose of the car and what it was used for.
Right. Well, Ford got into racing big time in 1957. Actually, these supercharged Fords dominated NASCAR. They dominated USAC. They won the Pikes Peak Hill Climb. They won the Schneider Trophy at Indianapolis Raceway. I mean, they just cleaned up. A guy by the name of Danny Eames, who drove for Ford back in the day, ran one of these to 136 miles an hour on Daytona Beach on the sand. And the other really cool thing was Ford did this thing called the longest left-hand turn at Bonneville in very late 1956 with two new 57 Fords. And they did an endurance run. They went 50,000 miles constantly, never stopped the cars except for gas and oil changes. And they succeeded in making several thousand new records, and the cars ran that distance at an average speed of over 100 miles an hour.
Now, Rich, 1957, this car, as I mentioned earlier, was purpose purchased. Now, tell us, what's the reason? Why was such a fast car needed?
Well, it appears to me, because when I was talking to the guy that owned it in Tennessee, I asked him about the car, and we talked a while, and he told me, kid, in his southern accent, he says, kid, he says, we used to run illegal alcohol with this car.
There you go, a moonshine runner. I have always wanted to track down a moonshine runner for classic Restos, and I have one. Hey,
right.
Hit it there. How cool is this?
I forgot the moonshine, though. I don't have it with me.
Well, we're going to talk about that later. I can't believe this. After all these years, I finally found a moonshine running car. This is incredible history. Now we know why. Now we know why it's so plain. And you don't need a cigarette lighter, none of that stuff. A plain car, as light as possible, and just a powerful engine. to run the booze.
Exactly, just to go as fast as they could.
Wow. Rich, thank you once again, mate, and sharing this incredible car and great stories and history. Thank you.
Pleasure talking to you.
You have been a witness to the largest Ford show on the planet, the 2016 Carlisle All Ford Nationals. 2 TV episodes is just a slither of the pie. The only way to truly appreciate a Carlisle event is to be here. This year set a record of Fords at over 3,000, reflecting a testament from loyal Ford supporters and the Ford Motor Company itself, along with Ford event manager Ken Appel and the Carlisle events team. Coming soon, you'll see the Carlisle GM Nationals on Classic Restos. You know, I've had a lot of pleasure in bringing you these 2 incredible episodes, and I hope you have enjoyed them. I'll leave you now with some of the street parade, where they close off some of the streets in downtown Carlisle on Saturday night. In the meantime, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, signing off from Carlisle, Pennsylvania, United States of America. I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ClassicRestosTV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons, where you can be part of the Shannons Club. PENRITE Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, Pace Farm, and Duncan Foster Engineering.